Hi guys, so we're going ahead and get started on the Pikachu drawing. I personally like using a dulled out pencil. I don't like it to be too sharp because I'll get too sharp of sketches when I'm just trying to sketch it out lightly at first. So the first step we're going to do is map out a rectangle. So however big you do this rectangle is how big your Pikachu will be. So you're just going to lightly do your rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to erase it at the end. Make sure you do leave room on this side for his tail and some on the top for his ears. You don't want it to be too big or you won't be able to fit everything. So next we're going to do is about a quarter down from the top. We're going to draw a line across. This is going to help us map out from his head to his body. From this line, you want to start doing his body. You're going to slightly round it off all the way down and back around. You can always fix this line if you don't like the way it looks. I do suggest having erasers around so you can erase whatever mistake you have. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So slightly going in, we want to go around and back down. Now we're going to start for his head. So you're going to slightly go past these lines and you want to do both sides together. This is going to help you get as symmetric of shapes as possible. We're going to start forming his cheeks. You want to go a little bit out. Nobody would want little straight cheeks. Going in and then curving it back up and slightly around, curving in and back up, going around. And again, like I said, if you don't like the shape that you are forming, you can always fix it once you have him down on paper. You're going for the top of his head. It's not completely round, it's a little bit straight. And then just connect the two. And now we have the Pikachu body. Next what we're going to do is put his arms. So you can, if it's easier, you can draw a line down the middle to help you place where you want his arms to be. You want them to kind of curve in. You don't want straight lines. So if you just have straight lines like that, it'll look not as much like Pikachu's arms. You want them to curve just a little bit. So slightly curving them in like that. And then for his little fingers, they're just little triangles. Same thing on the other side, slightly curving them in and then giving him his little fingers. Next, we're going to work on his tail. So if it's easier, you can erase this line, but if you want to keep it till the end, that's perfectly fine as well. I'm going to erase it for now. And we're going to start off with doing a lightning bolt. So the top is going to start from up here, over, down, just like that. So this is just our guidelines. The way we're going to make his tail is we're going to draw a line going vertically from the top. Oops, sorry. You do want this line to be a little bit slanted, sorry. You want it to be a little bit slanted, and then you're going to start from the top and go over just to this corner that you originally drew out, and you want to bring it down. You're going to start from the bottom, again matching this corner diagonally from the top. You're going to stop it, kind of going diagonally in, not down, in. You're going to start with this line going over, bring this a little bit lower, bring it in. Make sure when you're doing this line, you're slanting it over to the left as well as the other one, matching that slant. You want these lines to match the diagonal that they're going. And then you're just going to bring them both in, just like that. And then you can go ahead and erase the line that we drew in the beginning. And this is why I suggest lightly sketching these lines before making them really dark, because if they're super dark, then you're going to see the lines that you drew previously before actually making the shapes. The next we're gonna do is, he does have the little brown part down here, and we're just gonna do little triangles to separate these two parts of his tail. Next, what we're gonna work on is his body. So as we can see, these lines that I draw are a little bit longer than where his tail is. And that's why I say you can always change the shape of his body once you start drawing him on paper. So from here, I'm probably gonna make his feet right here. So following the line I already drew, I'm just gonna round where his feet are gonna be. I'm gonna draw this across to help me make his line symmetric. And again, just bring it over. And then connect the two, just like that. I'm gonna erase these lines just so I don't get confused on where I am. Make them a little bit more curved up. And this is where you guys can really start playing around with how his body is. If you don't like the way it's coming out, that's fine. Just keep playing with the sections until you get it to the way you want it. We're gonna draw his feet. Keeping this line in the middle is gonna help us with where his feet are. So the way Pikachu is, he does have a little curve in the middle. We're going to draw a line going up just like that. Keeping it center, because this is gonna be the center, so his feet are gonna be directly on these corners. And then from this line, you wanna keep it a little bit taller. And then you're just gonna draw a line down just like that. So that's what the center of Pikachu's bottom should look like. We're gonna draw his feet. So we're gonna start with the back. Just draw 2 lines going straight down. It's gonna make sort of like a triangle shape. So you can always go over and then back up if this helps you. Just draw a triangle out, and then we can go ahead and start forming his feet from this shape. So you're gonna draw kind of like his, so this is where we're gonna start doing his toes. We're gonna do a little toe right there, bring it out, do a toe like that. Oh, I don't like the way that came out. And again, I'm doing this just as you guys are, and I'm gonna be fixing whatever mistakes that I did as well. So again, I'm starting out with my triangle. And I'm gonna start out with drawing where his toes are going to be. So that's where his toes are gonna be. And then you just start forming his foot. Like that. So again, on this side, do the triangle. Figure out where you are gonna have his toes. Just like that, and then you're just shaping them. Giving them a little bit round. Just like that. Next, we're gonna work on his cheeks. So he does have 2 circles. So if you just get a rough circle down, you can always start fixing or making it bigger. You just want to at least get something down, because you can always erase the lines you have, and then you can see that it makes more of a circle. Just clean up the edges a little bit. And then next we're going to work on his nose. His nose is just a little upside down triangle. So you're just going to draw a little line like that, and then bring them down. This is where I say the line in the middle really helps keep everything symmetric and where it's supposed to be. we're gonna draw his mouth, which is just a little curve. So we're gonna start out and swoop it down and then back up, just like that. I'm gonna erase these lines up here because we're gonna work on his eyes next. Keeping our center line. So I'm gonna do his eyes right here. And again, you just lightly sketch on these, the lines, so that if you don't like the way the shape is or the way it's coming out, you can always erase it and then start again. And then I'm gonna do this side, trying to keep it as equal as possible. Okay, so there's his eyes. I'm gonna clean up the inside just a little bit. Just like that. Clean up this side. Okay, and then for now, we're just gonna add 2 little circles inside both eyes. This is gonna be the white part that Pikachu has. We're gonna go back and fill these in afterwards. Next, we're gonna work on the ears. So first what we're gonna do is figure out the center of the ear. So the center of the ear, I'm gonna do about right here on this corner and draw it going up. We're just gonna do one straight line. And then his other ear is gonna be slanted over. So we're just doing 2 lines on the corner of his head. Next, what we're gonna do is, following these lines, we're going to form his ear. So we're gonna keep the top of it more pointy and the bottom a little bit fatter. So using these lines as a guide, you're gonna bring it down, out, and then back in. Again, you could round the top off, bring it down, out, and then back in, just like that. You could go ahead and erase this line once you're happy with the way the ear looks. And then we're gonna try to mimic the same way we did this here on this side. So we're going to, it might be a little bit more difficult because it is slanted, so if you need to, you could always turn your paper sideways and then do the same thing. Starting from the corner, bringing it down, out, and then back in. Rounding off the top, bringing it down, out, and then back in. So there's my 2 ears. I'm gonna erase that line. And then Pikachu does have has his black tip, so we're going to draw just a slanted line. A slanted line on both ears, just like that. And then I'm gonna start erasing these lines that I have, because we're pretty much getting close to a finish with the Pikachu. Okay, so this Pikachu is coming out a little bit fuller than the normal Pikachu that they have. So if you feel like you want to make it smaller, keeping these lines, just follow the lines, and then that's how you can make him a little bit smaller. So I'm just gonna keep following down to the lines that I already have, because I like the shape of him. I just want him to be just a little bit smaller. And then you could go ahead and just start erasing those lines. And then make sure whatever you do change, you make sure it matches up. So I'm also gonna bring in the bottom as well, just a tad bit. And then just erase what you don't want. And do the same thing on this side. Erase, and then draw his body. And this is, again, this is why I say to keep your sketches light in the beginning, so that whatever you don't like, you can always go back, erase, and fix. And then you could just bring in his tail, just like that. Okay, and then bring in his ear. And then, so this is pretty much anywhere that you're just starting to fix any lines that you don't like. If you feel like your circles aren't round enough, or you want them to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, this is when you start doing it. Once he is the way you like him, you can go ahead and color him with either pencils, paint, crayons, anything you like. In order to fill in his eyes, if you just want to keep him as a pencil drawing, keep these white and then just go ahead and just fill in his eyes. Because they are just black, it's really easy to do it. So you just go ahead and color him in, and then this is also where you can start really shaping out your circle. It's like that, but a little bit inside the white, which is fine because you could just easily erase it. And then the same thing on the other side. Just outline it and then just start filling it in. Okay, you could also fill in his little nose. His nose is just black. And then just fill it in. Okay, and then from here, like I said, you can just go ahead and use some crayons. For the colors, you'll just need yellow, brown, and red. Pikachu is yellow. This little part right here is brown, so you would just color this part brown. Again, with whatever you want to use. If you want to use colored pencils, I'm just going to quickly fill them in with the crayon just so you can see where it is. His cheeks are red, so you would just fill in the red. But if you like the way he looks with just pencil, then go ahead and just keep him the way you like him. You don't have to color him in. Everybody has their own preference. I'm just quickly showing you just so you get an idea as far as what he would look like if you guys did. Okay, and then you just color him. If you don't want the pencil marks to show with the crayon, lightly outline where the pencil is, not going over it, because if you go over it, it will be harder to erase. You just go over. But if it doesn't bother you, then just go ahead and keep it the way it is. Okay, and then just his body. I personally don't mind the pencil marks. It just gives me a nice little outline, just a more of a cartoon look for him, not necessarily realistic. You can always outline it in a different color if you want it to be, if you want to outline him in a little bit of black, you can do black just to make it more vibrant. If you're doing paint, you can always mix the shades of yellow. If you want to make him a little bit, make these lines more realistic for yellow, just mix in just a tiny bit of orange and then just outline where his arms and where his legs are, and then just fill him in with just pure yellow, and you'll be able to get a nice little difference. So again, I'm just quickly coloring him in just so you guys can get an idea as far as what he would look like. I know a lot of you guys can also use watercolored colored pencils, and if you do have those and you just lightly get them wet, it does blend the colors together very nicely. Just as if you had paint at home, the colored pencils are very similar, just in a pencil form rather than a paint form. Okay, we're just coloring him in. And if you guys want to, you could always do his eyes using black. You don't have to use the pencil. Again, don't forget the tips of his ears are black, so you can use, again, pencil, or you can use a black crayon. I'm gonna grab a black crayon just to show you guys the different tip. And then just lightly go over. Keeping that straight line. You could always, if it's easier, just outline it and then just fill it in. If you want, you could always just do his mouth. Again, you could do his nose. And then there you guys have it. That is just a quick sketch of Pikachu. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back for next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.